I was telling you that I didn't love him. It didn't work for a reason, and I tried to convince myself that I did this on purpose because I didn't love him. You know, as much as I said I hated him or that I didn't love him, I love them.
Janelle's totally on point, isn't she? She's been consistently unbothered by Kody's ridiculous, "Now that you dumped me, I didn't really love you anyway. But hey, I want romantic love with you, so please come back." Nonsense. Like, we all know she saw right through that BS. I think Janelle's honesty was exactly what Mary needed to hear, and I'm loving that she was the one to say it out loud. Sometimes you need someone who's lived the same mess to call it for what it is. Hey, what this egomaniac is telling you isn't true. We all know it's not true, and he's gaslighting us because his pride is hurt. Janelle and Mary have been in this from the start. Janelle remembers how Kody and Mary were practically glued together in the beginning, how their lives used to be, and how he treated all of them back then. Christine couldn't give Mary this kind of reality check. She's way too careful with her words and often ends up sounding kind of passive-aggressive, like that talk they had after Axel was born. Jen might see everything clearly, but she's an outsider. She hasn't lived it, so it's harder for her to give advice that hits the mark. Janelle, though? She's lived it, and she doesn't hold back. She's always straightforward with Mary. No sugarcoating. They've got a real, no BS relationship. That's why Janelle was the perfect person to call out Kody's crap. Everyone else is either too removed or too invested in their own narrative to see things for what they really are. Hell, even Christine's played into Kody's version of things at times, though she did admit during the tell-all that Kody was definitely in love with Mary at the start. But Janelle? She knows exactly what happened, and she's not letting Kody off the hook. She's seen all the different stages of her own marriage, which overlap with Mary's, so she can be honest about it. Kody might have been in love with them at some point, but in the end, his love for himself and his ego always came first. It's a lot easier for Kody to convince himself he didn't love them than face the reality that 3 women just fell out of love with him and left. Except maybe Mary, but even then, she almost bailed during the whole catfish fiasco. Kody distanced himself from her before she could really leave, and we all know it. Then he's crying his eyes out when Mary gets the spiritual divorce, trying to act like he never loved any of them. Classic Kody move. Totally self-sabotaging. Christine bolted like she was on fire. Janelle made a slower exit and then bounced. Mary got the spiritual divorce, and Kody was left sobbing into his curls. That's when he ramped up the "I never loved them" routine. We all saw that coming, didn't we? As much as Janelle's unbothered attitude is a win for her, she does need to be bothered when it comes to her kids. Not calling Savannah on Christmas? Totally not cool. Personally, I'd be all over him for that one, and I'd tell Robyn to keep quiet if she even thought about speaking up. Yo, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to ThreadoraTalks, where the conversations are always next level. I'm your host, Jenna, and today we're turning things up a notch. Trust me, this is one video you do not want to miss, so let's dive right in. Christine sat across from Kody, her patience worn thin. "I'm done," she said, her voice steady but heavy with the weight of everything they'd been through. She was done, and she had finally found the strength to say it out loud. But Kody, of course, didn't hear it the way it was meant. Instead of feeling the hurt and loss of the moment, he immediately shifted it to his weirdest, most nonsensical fear. "My biggest fear is that you're going to find some guy who steals all our money." Wait, what? Steal their money? From what planet was this coming from? Was he really so consumed by his own delusions that he'd somehow convinced himself that the real danger here was Christine finding someone new and taking their money? Maybe in Kody's twisted world, that made sense. After all, it was him and Robyn who had done their fair share of stealing from the family, hoarding wealth, and making sure their little nest egg stayed firmly in their grasp. So naturally, Christine finding someone who might help her see how badly she'd been taken advantage of was a huge threat. But it was more than just a ridiculous projection. It was the way he didn't care that Christine was moving on, just that she might take something he thought he was entitled to. A bizarre moment of clarity, really. Kody wasn't worried about her finding love, or even happiness. He was worried about her getting what's hers, the money, the house, whatever. And if she found a man who could help her finally see how wrong he and Robyn had been in their little money grab scheme? Oh, hell no. It was sickening to watch, really. But nothing topped his earlier comment. I was never attracted to you. This was the same Kody who had once promised to love Christine for who she was. Instead, he doubled down and made it clear that the attraction had never been there, not from the start. Just brutal, embarrassing, heartbreaking. Christine deserved so much better than this cruel, soul-crushing nonsense. To hear the man you loved, the father of your children, tell you to your face that he was never even remotely interested in you? That kind of rejection wasn't just painful, it was sick. It was like he was trying to rewrite history, trying to twist the knife a little deeper with every word. But Christine? She was done. And the sad thing was, Kody had no clue. He had so thoroughly destroyed their relationship, so completely broken her heart, that the idea of her moving on with someone else, someone who could actually value her, terrified him. Because it wasn't about love anymore, it was about control. He feared that if Christine found someone who actually cared, she might take the money that was rightfully hers from the wreckage of Kody's mismanaged, selfish little world. The whole conversation? Just pure projection and cruelty. Christine deserved so much better than this sad, manipulative shell of a man. Robyn's fake tears have totally vanished. She used to cry in practically every episode, but this season, not a single tear. It's almost impressive how she's managed to drop the act. Maybe it's the editing, who knows? It's like the show's gotten a lot less friendly to Kody and Robyn, and I'd bet Robyn, at least, thought those dramatic crying moments made her look like the poor, misunderstood victim she's always aiming to be. But now, no tears. Why? Because she wants everyone, especially the ex-wives and viewers, to believe she's living her best life and totally happy. Here's the thing, though. In order to be the victim, she kind of needs the other wives to still be married to Kody. Thanks, Christine, for blowing that up. So now we're left with no tears, unless she needs to pull the poor me routine to manipulate the man-child. Classic. Just my 2 cents here, but when Kody says he paid for one lot all by himself, I'm pretty sure he's talking about Christine's lot, the one she paid for, then eventually signed over to the family in exchange for pocketing the profits from selling her Flagstaff house. You know, because Kody had initially claimed that he and Robyn gave her the money for that Flagstaff home, because, of course, it was family money. She hadn't even sold her Las Vegas house yet when she bought it. And let's be real, Kody definitely thought he was entitled to some of the cash when she sold that house. In fact, he wanted her to use that money to help pay off Coyote Pass. Janelle, ever the family bookkeeper, just came right out and said it. Christine's deal with the family over her house profits was totally fair. But we all know Kody was fuming inside because he saw that money as his. All of it. So, by letting Christine keep the sale proceeds, he somehow justified that she'd paid more for Coyote Pass than anyone else. Classic Kody logic, right? And don't even get me started on the family LLC money. It doesn't matter how much the wives earned through TLC, it's always family money, which is, in Kody's world, his money. But somehow, when it comes to his money, it's, well, his. Seems a little one-sided, doesn't it? Also, a little detail he seems to overlook. There were 4 plots of land. So if a Kody paid for one, who exactly paid for the other 3? But I guess critical thinking isn't his strong suit. And let's not forget the drama when Kody realized he wasn't going to get a cut of Christine's Flagstaff house profits. Suddenly, his brilliant idea was to have Janelle buy the house instead. My guess? He was hoping Christine would lower the price for Janelle so he could pocket even more money. It also conveniently distracted Janelle from focusing on actually building on Coyote Pass. Smooth move, Kody. What could Season 20 even be about? Seriously, I'm struggling to imagine what they could possibly film that would keep anyone interested. More of David and Christine? Yeah, no thanks. Janelle and her Forest Farm saga? Best of luck to her, but I'm good. Kody and Robyn with some fabricated drama? Hard pass. I've loved the show for years, but now that all the wives are gone and the drama between them is too, I just don't see how this show can stay relevant. It feels like it's on life support at this point. I have a sneaking suspicion that season 20 should be the last season. Just wrap things up, tie up any loose ends, and call it a day. Honestly, I'm not sure I'd even stop watching if they keep going, but I know I probably should. But no, they're just going to drag this thing out with a bunch of filler. Awkward birthday parties, Aurora having her first kiss, Christine and David going on a trip, Mary traveling somewhere vaguely exotic, Janelle hanging out with her grandbabies. Yawn. What I want to see is a little real drama. Kody sitting down with his OG wives and actually taking some accountability for the mess he made. Mary dating and, actually moving on from Kody instead of being stuck in that toxic cycle. Robyn realizing that she used their friendship to manipulate Mary into the divorce, keeping her around just to soothe her own guilt. Janelle waking up to the reality that her farm dream is full of what-ifs, and maybe, just maybe, it's not the easy ride she thought it would be. Christine and David facing their own challenges, whether it's family, finances, or business, and watching how they navigate that. Oh, and Brianna? Let's throw in some drama. She gets knocked up by Aurora's boyfriend after he steals her purity or whatever. As for Robyn, honestly, who knows? Does she even do anything worth watching anymore? So, let's talk about the brilliant decision to move to Flagstaff, shall we? This move was honestly the most idiotic thing they could have done. There was zero rhyme or reason to it. Just uproot your entire family for absolutely no good reason at all. Why? Because why not? Let's just drag the kids away from everything they know, move to a place where there are only rentals. Because, of course, buying a house makes way too much sense, and split the siblings up. What's the actual point here? Let's break this down. I'm convinced Kody and Robyn were behind it all, and they wanted the family split up. Why? So they could be farther away from the others, obviously. That way, Robyn could sink her teeth in deeper. Poor kids. Oh, and just for the record, Dayton, Robyn's son, was going to college in Flagstaff, which I'm pretty sure was the real reason for the move. Because why wouldn't Robyn want to be near her kid? Who needs a bit of independence, right? Kody? Well, he loves a good crisis, so keeping everyone in constant chaos, with no time to think, makes them more reliant on him. And let's be honest, that's exactly the way he likes it. Now, Janelle, she got roped into this mess with the promise of property, Coyote Pass. Ah, yes, because land solves all your problems, right? But let's not forget, Janelle was drawn to this whole homestead lifestyle thing because it was part of the religion. As for Mary, please, she was just trying to get Kody to love her again. That was her reason for tagging along. And Christine? Well, she probably didn't care much about Vegas anyway, but let's face it, Christine's opinion never really seemed to matter to Kody. So there she was, just following along like the others. Robyn, of course, was leading the charge because Flagstaff was so convenient for Dayton's college. And Kody, well, he'll do whatever Robyn wants, because that's how it works. Honestly, the original three, Janelle, Mary, and Christine, were just plain idiots for allowing this. Mary? Yeah, she was always going to do whatever Kody said, but Janelle and Christine? They should have fought back a lot harder than they did. But oh well. Watching Kody and the whole COVID situation unfold in Season 17 is honestly a nightmare. Trust me, I get it. I had a baby diagnosed with an immune issue right around the start of the pandemic, and literally, even a common cold could have been deadly. Meanwhile, I was living with someone who couldn't care less about COVID. Out at parties, grocery shopping multiple times a day, and traveling internationally before vaccines were even a thing. So yeah, I totally understand being paranoid and freaked out, especially when your immune-compromised child's life is on the line. But Kody? He's just using it as an excuse to bail on his family. It's beyond frustrating to watch. He's so obsessed with the kids not fawning over him that he's straight up refusing to see them. It's sickening. And it's even worse when you hear him talk about it like he's proud of being a terrible father. At least Christine starts calling him out, pointing out the favoritism toward Robyn and her kids. But was she actually saying this to everyone's faces, or just holding it in to keep the peace? I want to believe she was speaking in her mind, but it seems like she was just beginning to find her voice. Then there's Mary. Oh my God, watching her is just heartbreaking. Her whole, I'll do anything he wants if he'll just come over and see me routine is beyond pathetic. Just let go, Mary. It's painful to watch her cling to this relationship that's clearly over. And Robyn? That Thanksgiving conversation? Yikes! You can just see how she's poisoning her kids' minds against the rest of the family, all while playing the victim and crying about how they don't accept her. That moment was the first time she truly showed her true colors. No more pretending. And don't even get me started on Kody and Robyn having the nanny come every single day during all of this. It was all about power and control, and none of it made any sense. The Thanksgiving drama? Seriously, they expected the whole family to ignore 15 people just to hang out with them? It's absurd. Kody totally used COVID as an excuse to push away the OG3 and OG13, and now here he is on camera, bragging about it, calling his own kids assholes and acting like he's some martyr. He's proud of being a terrible father and husband. It's wild to me that he's still shrugging it off, like, oh well, I have Robyn's family that loves me. Like, implying that the original family doesn't? His kids are honestly better off without him. So Aurora found a church where she actually feels comfortable and included. How sweet. But Robyn? She couldn't resist making it all about her church. You know, the one with the real baptismal font, the one where things are quiet, reverent, and, of course, better than this humble little gathering. Robyn's entire tone made it clear that the watering trough they were using here was, in her eyes, a sacrilegious joke. But hey, she was just going to roll with it, because, obviously, it's not like her standards should apply to everyone else. Kody didn't exactly help with his delightful description of the trough. Yes, a watering trough. They painted it to match the carpet, though. What a relief, right? Because if there's one thing that truly elevates a baptism, it's ensuring that your watering trough is color-coordinated with the interior decor. And don't even get me started on the shots before the baptism. The exterior? Oh, you know, just a traditional white chapel with a blue roof. Inside? Stained glass windows, because that screams religion. Except, surprise, surprise, the church is actually in a strip mall, right next to a custom closet store. No judgment, it's totally fine. But it's a little funny when you think about how Robyn probably looked down her nose at Janelle's trailer, and now she's in a place that, shockingly, doesn't fit her idea of religious luxury. Mormonism, at least the mainstream LDS variety, is all about the spectacle. Grand fonts, big shows, and making sure everything looks just right. Robyn? Yeah, she's all about appearances too, so this humble church and its modest baptism ritual probably felt like a bit of a downgrade for her champagne tastes. Let's not forget, both she and Kody have clearly forgotten where they came from. And unless they start reining in their spending, they might find themselves in a very different situation in a few years. But hey, that's future them's problem, right? By the way, when does the LDS do their baptisms? Is it tied to the baby dedication thing? I've seen the massive baptismal fonts at the temple, the ones big enough to dunk a person in, and I know they do baptisms for others, even the passed-on folks. So maybe that's reserved for the big-time rituals? Has anyone else noticed that Robyn isn't crying as much lately? It's honestly kind of strange. In the last 2 episodes, she's been shockingly dry-eyed. After years of earning the nickname Sobbin' Robyn, it's odd how quickly she can turn off the waterworks. You'd think someone who supposedly loves her husband so much would have been moved to tears when he bared his soul to her at that Valentine's dinner. But nope, not a single tear, not even a sniffle. Maybe the tears only come when she's not getting her way and needs to play the victim. You know, like when she's really trying to manipulate the situation. Let's be honest, Robyn has never been a great actress. The crying she's done before has always been more about the dramatic lip quivering than actual tears. Kody and Robyn have completely switched tactics lately, and it feels like they've had some sort of coaching. Could it be because they were getting so much hate from viewers? Who knows? But it seems like they're trying to dial back the melodrama. Remember that bathroom floor breakdown Robyn filmed herself having because Christmas wasn't going perfectly? That's the last time I can remember her crying for real. After that, it's like the tears just stopped. Coincidence? Or maybe she realized it wasn't winning her any sympathy. Kody's behavior has shifted too. Suddenly, he's backpedaling on all the "I never loved Mary" and "my kids are jerks" comments. Now it's all about the pain from the divorces. As for Robyn, I'm guessing she toned down the fake crying for the same reason. They want to keep the show going. But let's be real, they're still as unlikable as ever. And then there's the scene where Robyn laughs about Christine saying Robyn always had better stuff. Normally, that would have been a cue for her to start sobbing about how unfair life is. But no, instead, she's grinning like she's proud of the fact that she's got more and better than anyone else. It's almost like she knows exactly what she's doing. All right, now I want to hear from you. Sound off in the comments and let me know where you stand. Agree, disagree, or something in between. And if you're enjoying the vibe, hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you're always in the loop. Your voice counts, and I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for hanging with me.